Less than 200 cases of infant ALL are diagnosed each year, and there is only a 40% cure rate.
So it makes it a difficult diagnosis and one for parents to have difficulty approaching and grappling with.
Well, of course, I fell in love with him the first time I saw him.
Mitchell was born February 27, 2012. We had a family gathering to celebrate his baptism into the Christian faith on June 17th, and we noticed some bruises on his legs.
It happened so fast. In the doctor's office, we didn't have time to think. Meg picked up the phone and called Frank, and we need you, to go to Presbyterian, this is where we'll be. And everything was happening so fast that we didn't have time. I cried a lot at home. I don't think I cried in front of Meg. But it was just incredibly scary, but from day one, there was no why or anything. It was just, this is what it is, and we're gonna fight it, and he's gonna beat it.
And later that day, they diagnosed him with leukemia after numerous blood tests.
I knew that if he was able to verbalize that this was really serious. And this is my 3.5-month-old.
I never really was angry. I don't think I had too much time to be angry about it. Fear and anxiety were something that were sort of overwhelming there in the first few weeks.
So you can imagine how afraid we were when we found out our child first has cancer, second is an extremely rare case with only a 40% survival rate, and just the shock. Our world was completely turned upside down. We went from one of the happiest days of our life in baptizing our child to literally less than 24 hours later finding out that he has cancer.
It makes me sad.
The first few weeks were very overwhelming because, it's like you just get blindsided with something that you never expect you're going to have to deal with. And then all of a sudden you have the emotional aspect of it, and then the physical aspect of it, which is the actual care, the actual funding of the care. And there's a lot of people that I have met since then who they're not as fortunate as we are.
We're also managing a lot of people coming to us saying, well, what do you need? We didn't really know what we needed. But anyway, we felt very good about the staff and the medical team at Presbyterian. We knew from the beginning that we were in the right place.
I like to think of Hemby, and especially Presbyterian, as a family. I mean, we care for our patients and our families as our own, and I think that's what's so special about the experience that folks have while they're here, and why they leave this hospital feeling so connected and so inspired to go and do incredible things.
Really, the Bloom Clinic is a very special place. So we're standing now in the infusion side of the clinic, which is also referred to by the children as the playroom. And the reason for that is because it is an area where the kids can entertain themselves, where parents can feel relatively entertained when children are having longer infusions or transfusions of their treatment.
Financially, the burden can be extremely substantial, especially for families that may not be prepared for a catastrophic event.
The stress of the financial burden on top of the emotional burden and just everything that you're going through with your child, we want to help. We want to help these families. And the Mitchell-based Turner Pediatric Fund has been established to help more than just oncology patients. We want to help families of all children who are facing difficult diagnoses.
This kind of funding, this kind of help can provide some of the services, provide some of the help that families may need to be able to get through it successfully, not only for the child getting through their therapy, but perhaps allowing the couple and the family to maintain and sustain through the process.
We knew how good of a facility we were involved with and the organization that we were involved with, Presbyterian Healthcare, the Bloom Clinic, the doctors, the nurses. We believed wholeheartedly in what they were doing, and we wanted to support them 100%. And at the same time, there were a lot of patients and families of patients who were coming through the hospital who didn't have the resources that we did.
One of our families, they're struggling with having hot water in their home. Now, if you have a child with cancer or a life-threatening hematologic problem and you're concerned about having hot water in your home, that's a real issue. And a lot of times those things aren't very well addressed through our social services, and sometimes we're able to offer a little bit of help along those lines, and hopefully substantial help. But it seems to me there's never enough funding to go around to meet some of those sort of social needs, let alone the medical bills and the costs of therapy.
You have to have faith. You have to have help. You have to have good people around you.
A lot of parents have trouble leaving that burden at home and coming to the hospital and being there for their child and focusing on the care needs rather than that stress.
If we could just provide them the money to meet their co-pays or meet their gas payments or keep their electricity on, or anything we can do to help them and alleviate the fear that they have.
You just have to understand that this happens. And when you go home tonight and you see your children and you tuck them in, kind of give a little extra prayer that it's not you, but maybe dig a little bit into your heart and maybe into your pocketbook to say, well, how can I help? Because it could be me.
One of the most important reasons to support this fund is because any of these issues and problems could happen to any of us.
We can really clearly see how God led us to this point. I do not think that God gave my child cancer, but I do think that God prepared us for this. I think that He did that by sending people like Pat to us.
I wish my child was not diagnosed with cancer in June of 2012, but it happened for a reason, and it has taught me to appreciate things on a much grander scale.
And I would much prefer an environment where I now know I have the resources to give back, I have the resources to support families out there who already have a need. And you know, should something terrible happen to me, I'll know that there's someone there to support me at the end of the day.
God.